Hi, my name's Matthew Links, and welcome to this episode in the series 5 Minutes of Cancer Care. I'm talking about cancer care when you are not the expert. This talk aims to give guidance to primary care practitioners, emergency doctors or junior medical staff about the difficult situation where you're discussing news about the cancer, often bad news, but you may not have all the facts or all the expertise. I'm speaking today on Aranda Country, and I'd like to acknowledge elders past, present and emerging, and tap into the skills in deep listening, talking in community that the elders bring with them. So learning objectives today are to give you some strategies for this scenario, to identify the supports and strategies in your system that set you up for success, and to identify your strategy for continuing to learn and improve with this skill. So the first step is to have a framework as a guide. Many of you will be familiar with the SPIKES framework. Well, we've developed one that's called Empowers, a similar thing. The second thing is to improvise in the way you implement the framework. Try doing things differently, tell a story or a metaphor, and then figure out if they work. Particularly helpful is to link the story to the individual patient. An example might be linking to a person's goal to get back to community. So here's the Empowers framework. It divides a conversation up into a preparation step and an acting step at the end. And then the actual conversation is divided up into open, middle and close with different goals. The opening, E stands for empathy, M, manage the agenda, P, seek the other's perspective, O, share your own observations, W, work together on goals, E, empower the other with commitment to and have these goals happen, R, reach agreement on the plan, and S, summarise the issues, goals and agreed plan. And this is a strategy that very much is a shared decision-making strategy, and one that lends itself to building on strengths that patients bring to deal with the problems that they are facing. So the first step is to set the scene, and communications performance and preparation is key. So having the right people in the room particularly means involving family and Aboriginal support workers. This might not always be possible, but we need to do our best. And secondly, you need to be the right person in the room. You need to bring the best you, not grumpy you or tired you or overstressed you. One strategy to do this is scheduling a compassionate pause. Take a deep breath, land in the room and put all the other stuff behind you. Take another breath, slow down, and with a third breath, focus on bringing compassion into this situation and then hit the room in a good state of mind. How you deal with uncertainty is key, and it's important to find out what you can know and marshal your facts. Do any research you need to do, but always admit what you don't know and use possibilities to create a bridge towards getting answers. So an example is you might find an incidental lung lesion. You can discuss the possibility it's cancer. You might be very confident or not very confident at all. Sharing your concern and discussing reasonable possibilities gives patients time to adjust while you get the answers they need. Sometimes they say it looks like a cancer to me, but we'll need to check with our team to get a second opinion. Admitting you don't know is good, but you need to leave the patient with a plan to how you do know. That might require you to phone a friend or refer on. You need to set up this pathway to succeed. You can suggest questions to ask, encourage them to write it down, identify who should be in the room next time. The acronym ICE is a useful one to clarify the patient's perspective. There's often a big concern that underlies the words that have been spoken. Ideas are particularly important in a cross-cultural context. People may have ideas about what's wrong with them that doesn't fit the medical model, so ask. Concerns can be validated and some are easy to address. Expectations may or may not be realistic. Gently reorientating unrealistic expectations help, and it's important that we don't raise unrealistic expectations. When you find out this information, hand it over to the next person. It's invaluable. Now, these are high-stake conversations, so how will you safety net them? There's some ideas include providing written information, identifying a coordinator that will support the process, or using your existing safety netting system. So the question is, what works in your system? And whatever you're communicating, you can try and leave the patient in a hopeful fashion by providing a realistic hope. Maybe the hope is it's not cancer, there's some uncertainty. Maybe the hope is that we can control your symptoms. The patient's hopes and goals may not be what you think, so ask. One mistake many doctors make is they deal with all the facts, but not the emotions. It's important to notice, acknowledge, normalise, and offer support. These can be difficult conversations. You should also notice your own emotions. It's okay to be human. Now, this is a task that you can always improve on no matter how long you've been doing it, and reflective practice is the key. In a team setting, there's often an opportunity to get feedback from other team members. If you tried a new tactic or strategy, and ask how it worked. Pace also to reflect on the emotional impact on yourself of difficult conversations and think about how you're going to deal with this. So to summarise, talking about cancer when you're not the expert is a particular skill. Dealing with uncertainty is key. Maximise the supports are there for you and the patient. Deal with emotions, and this is a task for lifelong learning. So here's some references. The conflict of interest alert, the publications from our group, they provide extra information if interested. So thank you to all those that reviewed the site. And please email if you have any feedback or leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Remember, these are everyday conversations for you, but are very big conversations for the patient with cancer. Your skill and compassion in a difficult time makes a difference. Good luck with it.